Biggest full-bodied trucks in U.S. Auto Association history. From Michigan, this is Jeff Starkin and the Ground Zero Chevy S10, a supercharged, fuel-injected, methanol-burning small-block Chevy entry. The Zeeland Motor Supply truck recently ran as quick as 2.33 seconds and is certainly a contender for the #1 spot here at Oklahoma City. One of the highest RPM trucks in the sport, sometimes reaching 11,000 RPM at the finish line. Starkin lines it up. He staged, clears out the mighty small block, and waits for the starter's signal to leave the starting line. And obviously, it's going to take a technique. A nice starting line launch. Starkin stays with it all the way through, and by about 3 feet, goes out of bounds. That has been the trickiest part of this event. Getting in the throttle, staying in it, and then trying to stop. You can see the cone just in the center of the driver's cab. The crowd goes crazy with one of the quickest runs of the event, but unfortunately it will not count as Starkin goes out of bounds. The elapsed time on the run, 2.52 seconds, would have been good enough for the #2 spot. Look at the replay of a nearly picture-perfect run. The front end in the air, the incredible horsepower of that small block taking him well past the finish line under power. But with all 4 tires locked up, Starkin still could not keep the machine within that 100-foot shutdown area boundary. So the final class results for the Super Modified division will find Tom Mintz, the Illinois rookie, in the #1 spot with the supercharged Shake Me 1932 Ford Roadster at 2.44 seconds, 9/100ths of a second ahead of the #1 man in the world from 1988, Tom Martin in the Mud Patrol 32 Ford at 2.53 seconds. Defending Oklahoma City champion Larry Jarrett's Locomotion supercharged Chevy Sprint car at 2.57 seconds, and the twin Texas entries of McNasty and Wildfire in the high 2-second zone round out the top 5. Shelley Herman is in the pits with the man who just beat the defending world champion and picked up some really valuable points in the World Championship battle.
With me now is Tom Mintz, who won this evening's competition with a time of 2.44 seconds driving Shake Me. You had quite a wild ride tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was just fortunate enough. I made a decent pass and got stopped in time.
Yeah, I understand stopping was pretty critical tonight. Disqualified quite a few of the drivers.
Yeah, the pit was awful slick at the end. Making a good run was one thing, but getting stopped in time was another.
You have a couple sponsors you wanted to thank, didn't you?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Sam Beck, 4x4 Performance and Rand Tool, and Jennings Auto Body for painting the car.
And we'd like to thank you for a real good show tonight.
All right, thanks a lot.
Well, that win will put Tom Mintz in a true dogfight for the World Championship. Points lead with Tom Martin. And Martin is standing by in the pits watching a monitor of his run to tell us exactly what happened.
Okay, we got her launched off, going pretty straight. And right there, we hit high gear, and then the nitrous comes in. The wheels cut right a little bit. I was heading for out of bounds, and I let out a little too soon. And then we hit the brakes, and that was all we could do.
A little too soon computes to 8/100ths of a second too soon. For the monster truck fans, we'll be right back with high-flying action from Oklahoma City. Stay with us. A good starting line launch on this rather tricky course, which involves an actual elevated second half. You can see the high-voltage truck going up and over that dirt hill, and now up and over 6 cars on the floor of the Oklahoma State Fairgrounds Arena across the finish line, and he'll receive the first elapsed time of this special round-robin program. As the first man to hit those cars, Kepner picks up a lot of air. 14.92 seconds, but a beautiful landing will give him now the elapsed time mark to beat against his rather unusual opponent. Also from the state of Washington, Jeff Kepner will be taking on one of the very few lady monster truck drivers in U.S. Auto Association competition. This is Debbie Roden, driving Kepner's old hot stuff Jeep. And despite the fact that this beautiful young lady has only been in competition for just a few months, she has already proven herself to be one of the most aggressive drivers on the U.S. Auto Association National Event Trail. She takes the grid and obviously full throttles it down to that first left-hand turn, up the slight incline, now making a very tight, hard left, trying to keep the vehicle straight. She hits the 6 cars on the floor. Tremendous airborne leap for Debbie Roden as she takes it across the finish line with an elapsed time that certainly will rival that of Jeff Kepner. The lady hits the cars on the final straight. Lots of air underneath this 14,000-pounder, but at 16.47 seconds, she'll be about a second and a half behind Jeff Kepner's qualifying run. Shelley Herman had a chance to talk to these two incredible teammates just before the start of the first round of eliminations here tonight.
The monster truck competition this evening has a little extra twist to it. Not only do we have two real fierce competitors, but we have two people who date each other when they're not racing against each other. First off, I want to talk to Jeff Bainter. You own both the trucks, don't you?
Yes, that's right.
And I understand that you own them free and clear, which is something not a lot of the drivers do here.
Well, pretty much, yeah.
Oh, well, that's great. How long have you been racing?
We've been racing hot stuff for 2 years, and we just introduced our newest one, which is called High Voltage. It's just been out a couple of weeks.
And what's special about High Voltage?
It's lighter, faster. It's just up to date with everything else that's out there, maybe hopefully a little bit ahead in a few areas.
And do you think that that's enough truck to beat Debbie? You saw her earlier in the show, Debbie Roden.
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm just fine. Now, I understand that, you know, people who work together as well as date each other, there can be some kind of, you know, competition that way, too. What do you guys do when you're, like, working here together and racing here? How does that work out?
We work as a team, but we're still opponents. You know, outside the arena where we have our personal relationship, the minute we come in here and the stage is set, lights are on, we're, you know, opponents again. So it works good, though. We get along great.
Now, basically, you are racing for the same team, but there's got to be like some little extra incentive. Do you guys have any little private bets you do between yourselves?
Not really. Maybe a dinner or two once in a while, you know, if he beats me, or, you know, if he does better than I did, clears the cars, you know, something like that.
Have you ever had to buy dinner?
Last night was the first time I've been beat, and I probably owe her a dinner.
Well, listen, it's going to be a good competition tonight, and just to show that there's no love lost between you, why don't you guys just shake hands, and we'll get this thing going, okay? Come on, you guys. Come on, shake, okay? May the best driver win.
We'll see just who is the best driver. Now in the second round for the four-wheeled monster trucks. Remember, the winner of this battle will take on the winner of the Monster Tank Championship run. Here's Bainter one more time in the hot stuff machine. Remember, we saw him running in the mid-14 seconds out as he elicits a little cheer from the crowd for the supercharged Chevrolet-powered 14,000-pound High Voltage. Staged and ready. The flagman checks with the driver and now prepares to drop the green in front of event director Jim Harris. Bainter another full power launch, now making that hard inclined left turn. Beautiful, absolutely perfectly straight to hit the cars. Huge airborne jump, landing on car number 6 and bouncing across the finish line for what may be his quickest run yet. Once again, Bainter is certainly taking no time over those cars, and the elapsed time drops a full second. 13.59 seconds for the brand new 89 Jeep Renegade, and that will certainly put the pressure on Bainter's teammate. Debbie Roden now knows she's going to have to come up with one incredible run if she expects to get in that final round against the winner of the Monster Tank Championship. The lady lines up the Jeep on the starting line. It is imperative that she make that tricky left-hand inclined turn onto the second half straight as quickly as Bainter did on his run. Lining up, checking both front and rear wheel steering. The green flag drops. The lady nails it and now prepares for that tricky left-hand turn. Cranking the wheel hard and hanging on. She gets it just about perfect as well. A little bit of correction necessary. She tries to keep it straight, heading for the cars, and loses a lot of forward speed. And that is going to keep Debbie Roden from knocking Jeff Bainter out. 16.03 seconds for the lady, and Jeff Bainter will go to the final round against the winner of the